Hello and welcome back to the 20th Century Dude channel. So this was not the Features of the Month entry I was expecting to get out right now. The other one was supposed to be shark themed, but I had no time to get two of the three movies watched in a timely manner, so I just decided to put this one out instead. It's two very distinct movies, but I promise I'll be as quick as possible about the both of them. One I watched in remembrance of the late great Hulk Hogan. It's a movie that happens to star him in it called Suburban Commando, and boy, what a treat that was. And the other one is a rather unknown 1970s film starring Harvey Keitel and Earth, Wind, and Fire, believe it or not, called That's the Way of the World. I'm not expecting anyone to have watched any of these films prior to this video. They're not exactly well known, but that's kind of the point for Features of the Month, to point out things that are not quite as known to the general audience or the general public, but anyway, let's begin. So the first movie is the Hulk Hogan action flick Suburban Commando, and this film was a blast to watch. The film is about an extraterrestrial Rambo slash Schwarzenegger like warrior played by Hulk Hogan who botches a mission against an evil tyrannical space empire and is forced to take a vacation against his will. He crash lands on Earth, getting a dose of Earth culture, and also meets Christopher Lloyd and Shelley Duvall, who unintentionally gets involved with his galactic conflict. The film is schlock from beginning to end, there's really no doubt about that. Hulk Hogan's range isn't exactly broad, but his one-liners are legendary and the film is full of them. The special effects are not great, but they're not meant to be either. It's probably supposed to come off as cheesy. It feels corny from start to finish, and it's simultaneously entertaining to watch for that very reason. And yes, for those of you wondering, there are character arcs in here that do happen. Christopher Lloyd is the main one. He plays a sort of wimpy father who doesn't really stand up for himself in his neighborhood or at his work, and he learns how to defend himself through the help of Hulk Hogan's character. So, yes, people do learn things and go through situations that are supposed to push their character forward, even in a film that's, basically schlock. Some of you might not appreciate it for the schlock factor, but that's okay. It's as goofy as you probably expect it to be, and that's fine. If you're looking for a fun time and you have an hour and a half to spare, then Suburban Commando is right up your alley. You won't be disappointed. The last film is an underrated and rather unknown film starring Harvey Keitel called That's the Way of the World. I shouldn't say it's obscure, but it doesn't exactly have the recognizability of films from the 70s like 3 Days of a Condor or All the President's Men or The Godfather or The French Connection. You get the point. I actually found this movie as a bonus feature entry to a DVD I had, and that's honestly the only reason I knew this existed. Which surprised me a lot because this movie is pretty underrated to be so quickly forgotten about. I'm not saying it's a classic for the ages, but it's also not a relic to be forgotten about either. Anyway, the film is about Harvey Keitel, known as the Golden Ear, who works as a producer for the A-Chord record company. He's in the middle of recording an album for a band called The Group, who are portrayed by none other than Earth, Wind, and Fire, the bandmates themselves. I'm also told they have a tie-in album for this back in 1975 when the movie came out, but anyway. Keitel is forced to put the group on hold when a new group called the Pages are signed onto the studio to represent some good old-fashioned family values. However, Keitel's character disagrees. He says it represents everything wrong with the music business these days and wants nothing to do with them. But due to his contract, he is forced to take their work in progress single and make it a workable hit. He does begin a relationship with the female bandmate, who he begins to realize doesn't represent the family values she's supposed to portray in the band. She's actually quite snotty and devious, but he does one up her at the end with a very interesting twist. That I won't spoil for you, so you'll have to watch it for yourself. That's the Way of the World is definitely a product of its time, both musically and aesthetically, but that's not a bad thing either. I mean, aesthetically, the cinematography is pretty consistent with other films of the decade. And if you like music of the 1970s, then this movie should be right up your alley. There's a whole lot of soul and pop, and if that's your thing, then this is going to be something for you. I'm also very unsure where you're going to be able to watch this movie. I heard it's on Prime, but it also might be on Tubi as well, but I can't be too sure. I found on the back of this DVD here, but I don't know if many of you want to track down this physical copy for that reason. Or maybe you already have this on tape or something already, so it really doesn't matter. Everyone is different, I suppose. I'd rather collect physically, but that doesn't mean everyone else does. And now we come to the part of the video where the decision is made on which of these two movies do I recommend the most. And today I think we have come to an interesting decision. Inconclusive. Which I know probably surprises a lot of people. Sure, that's the way of the world. Technically, it's the more well-made film of the two. I take it more people will probably say this is better than Suburban Commando, but that doesn't mean that Suburban Commando doesn't have merits in its own right, if we want to suggest that it does have any merits, let's just be honest. Both are enjoyable for different reasons. Suburban Commando is entertaining for the fun schlock factor alone, and that's the way the world can be enjoyed differently as well. So it's going to be up to you, dear viewers. What do you think of the two films you want to see the most, or what do you think is the better of the two? Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you for tuning in to 20th Century Dude for another Features of the Month review. And I promise I will hopefully actually have the video I wanted done this month next month. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for tuning in today and hope to catch you on the fly. See ya.